important source of housing stock, cost prohibitive for worker housing. And whereas the Agriculture Advisory Board has identified that current provincial policy requiring an environmental compliance approval for large septic systems can cost in excess of $30,000, take up to 2 years to complete, has no regard for parcel size, 1 acre property is treated the same as a 300-acre property, and no regard for distance to neighbors. Therefore, be it resolved that the Agriculture Advisory Board recommends that Norfolk County Council respond to the letter from Steve Clark, Ministry of MMAH, addressing these outstanding concerns. Do I have a mover? Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Michelli. Any discussions? Councillor Columbus.
Comment that this has been a huge issue for the last couple of years for our agriculture community, those involved with horticulture crop production, whereby only four offshore workers can actually live in a dwelling. And if we get this approved with the current government of the day, there's some hope that we can get this switched up to make more common sense.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor? And that's carried. One thing I would ask Councillor Columbus, perhaps you and I could arrange to get together next week and you could provide me some more details on that. Now, I have a motion that's been moved by Councillor Ravitz and seconded by Councillor Geisens that the minutes of the Norfolk County Agricultural Advisory Board meeting of December 19th, 2018 be received as information. All in favor? Carried. Okay, the next we have the Tourism and Economic Development Advisory Board minutes for December 17th, 2018. Is there any discussion on that issue or those minutes? Okay, I have a motion before me moved by Councillor Ravitz and seconded by Councillor Martin that the minutes of the Tourism and Economic Development Advisory Board meeting of December 17th be received as information. All in favor? That's carried. Final one, we have Economic Development Strategy Project Oversight Team minutes from December the 6th, 2018. Any discussions on those minutes? No, okay. I have a motion, again, moved by Councillor Ravitz, seconded by Councillor Geisens, that the minutes of the Economic Development Strategy Project Oversight Team meeting of December 6th, 2018 be received as information. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, so now number 10 has been completed. Now we are off to the staff reports, number 11. I believe, Ms. Dusling, you're going to be presenting this? Or Mr. Bond, perfect. You can go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So we received notification from the province of Ontario on December the 6th that they had drafted a bill and it had received first reading at the legislature. And the bill is a proposed open for business planning bylaw, which is great timing considering all the change going on in the province right now. The bill, however, the circulation period is a very quick turnaround time. So it was released on the 6th. We need to have comments back to the province by January 20th if we want our voice and opinion to be heard. So in essence, what the proposed regulation does is it's made for major employment uses that wish to seek a location in an area municipality. And it enables a municipality to apply to the province for this particular bylaw to approve the proposal basically without any consideration of an official plan, a zoning bylaw, the PPS, and various other provincial matters of interest. A municipality has the option, if the if the opportunity presents itself to apply for that bylaw. However, there's some caveats right now as to when we can apply for it. So for instance, with a municipality of our size, the proposed use would need to have at least 50 jobs, and it would only be limited to manufacturing and research and development. Obviously, there are some pros and cons to this type of application. For instance, it would bypass all planning policy, which isn't always a good thing. Part of this bill proposes no public consultation on the front end and only requires public consultation or a notification, I should say, at the end. Servicing capacity, which we know is a bit of a challenge in some of our towns, that wouldn't be a consideration. Source water protection, which again we have some areas, some protected wellhead areas that we want to keep protected, that would also not be a consideration. Prime agricultural lands, this is something that we heard. We took this this policy to both our TDAB and our AEB, and one of the items that they expressed some concerns about was the protection of our prime agricultural lands. And last one is environmental protection. Things like environmental areas such as like wetlands, both provincial and local significance, it would bypass that as well. And the biggest thing from this, which there is some uncertainty about, is exactly how it works. The province, in their haste to get this out and to get it on to the next level, didn't provide a whole lot of information about how the bylaw actually works or how a municipality goes about applying for it. I was fortunate enough to be part of a provincial leaders discussion last week, and at that meeting, I got to understand a little bit more about how it works in terms of it's a municipality-driven process. A municipality has the option to apply for it or not. Municipality has the option of adding public consultation to the process if we so wish. But at the end of the day, if there's a certain type of industry that is looking to locate into Norfolk County, we could apply for and employ this bylaw in order to attract them to our area, notwithstanding all of the other items for reasons why industries don't locate in Ontario. But in any case, it is a very valuable, could be a very valuable planning tool for us to use, but it comes with some responsibility on our end, and that responsibility has us in a position to provide some comments, and those comments, which are attached to this report, identify those areas such as policy planning, ag lands, environmental policies, and the like, that we think would be valuable for us to address with the province. I'm happy to answer some questions if there are any. Just let me know.
Thank you, Mayor Chop. Through the chair to staff, at the end of the letter, we've got a thank you, and we don't have an author. Does staff have a recommendation, or is it sort of left us to decide who we want to actually be the author of this letter?
Yeah, through Madam Mayor, I apologize for the highlighted unfinished signature block there. We weren't certain whether this should come from the mayor or for the county as a whole, but it might be a better idea for collectively the entire county to send this forward. I'll leave it up to council though. Yeah. Through you, Madam Mayor, I think there's a lot of uncertainty right now with how this is going to hash out in its final form, and it's very likely between now and when it becomes enacted that it will some of the criteria will change. We're hopeful that some of the important aspects of community planning are considered in the rollout of this tool. I do believe it is a useful tool if it goes through. And maybe one of the comments could be that why only limit it to manufacturing and to research and development when in Norfolk County, there are other sectors that could benefit from this as well. But those are all considerations for council.
We're on item number 12 on the agenda. That motion is that bylaws 1Z 2019 through 3Z 2019 inclusive and bylaws 19-01 through 19-04 inclusive be approved, signed by the mayor and clerk, and affixed with the corporate seal. So we're clear the other one has been separated. That is a motion that's been moved by Councillor Rabbits and seconded by Councillor Geisens. Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a little housekeeping on page 168. Under bylaw 21902, I think they're labeled wrong at the top of the page. You probably just copy and pasted last year's. Top it says bylaw 21818, and I think it should say 21902.
Yes, thank you for noting. I'll amend it on the bylaw here.
Thank you.
You always catch these things. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? And that's been carried. Okay, now we are on to that bylaw 2019-08 be deferred pending budget deliberations. I'll need a mover and a seconder. Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Huffman. Any discussions? All in favor? And carried unanimously. Okay, now we are on to motions and okay, any motions on the floor?
So this will be notice.
Okay, and now we're on to number 14, notices of motion. I have one before me that's been moved by Councillor Van Passen and seconded by Councillor Martin. that resolution number 12 of the council minutes of January 8th and 9th be reconsidered, and that the motion to reconsider be entertained at the budget deliberations to be held on January 23rd and 24th, 2019. Do you have any discussions on the motion? All in favor? Okay, that's been carried. Any other business? Councilor Columbus.
We under the other business section now where we circulate the councilors and the staff for other business?
I believe so.
Okay. We normally do that in kind of order, but it's up to you.
I just saw your hand go, so I thought
Do
perhaps.
you want me to
but
go ahead?
If you'd like to start, we'll
Sure.
start with you and make our
Okay.
way around.
I drove by Highway 24 through Simcoe the other day, and I noticed large flocks of geese in two different areas in Wellington Park. And people have commented on it, and I know our county staff, they have been for several years trying to eliminate these Canada geese and the problems that they bring. So I came at the Roma conference last year. I came across a product that's called awaywithgeese.com. It says it's an efficient, maintenance-free, inexpensive product for keeping annoying geese off lawns, docks, ponds, and lakes. The device is a flashing light charged by photocells and automatically activated with a light solar. The light is mounted to a fully enclosed weatherproof unit that is positioned in the center of an afflicted pond, lake, dock, field, or roof. And the light blinks through the night. Anyway, the land unit costs $465, and the dock unit or floating water unit is at $485. So I'm just wondering, we've tried all kinds of things over the years to eliminate these geese, other than to exterminate them and maybe have them for dinner one day. But I don't see Mr. Cridlin here. I guess this would be his department. Oh, so I don't know who to address this to, because maybe we've got an answer here. Other municipalities are using it. They claim it's guaranteed, it works. You can actually order this, and if you don't like it, you can send it back. Satisfaction guaranteed, a 90-day trial, okay? It's maintenance-free. It's untroubling to people. It's environmental friendly. It's humane for the geese to get rid of them, and it's cost-effective and sustainable. Just put that out there, because I know people are annoyed. I just read here that nesting geese take hostage in the areas that they nest and leaving 2 to 4 pounds of excrement a day. I'd be getting one of these units right away. Thanks.
I might have to try it for the roof of my building and my houseboat in the spring. They're unrelenting. But I think Mr. Baird has something to say.
Madam Mayor, I'm glad to, on Mr. Cridlin's behalf, to take that information from you and share that with him, and we'll get a follow-up for you, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I actually wanted to bring this up at the last meeting, but we didn't get a chance because we were in a bit of a rush. But we had a major fire by our place there in December by the boat storage place. And I think the week before that was a major fire up by Teeterville at a ginseng operation. And I wanted to say thank you to all the volunteer firefighters, because I know they were pumping water for a good 6, 8, or 7 hours out of our pond running down to that boat fire, and I'm sure the same went on in Teeterville. So I just wanted to say thank you to all our volunteers out there, and they're doing a good job. So.
I would agree. Thank you for that. Councillor Huffman.
Nothing at this time.
Councillor Michelli.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As some of you may have heard, there was a woman fell in the Port Rowan Harbor this past, I believe it was Tuesday evening, and she was rescued by some local citizens who happened to be going by, but also those people commended the county emergency services staff for their prompt arrival, and everything ended up very well, and they just wanted me to thank them officially for their quick response and their very professional approach. Thank you.
Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and I would just like to, again, last couple meetings we did miss this part, so I wanted to point out that we just had the 60th anniversary of the Panorama what a year it was. I made my way down to the park a couple times. I just moved downtown, so I was able to stop by a few nights, and it was amazing. I'd just like to thank the volunteers that helped put it together, and I know during the lame duck period, our SLT really had to step up with several decisions that were made during the process, and I'd like to extend a thank you to you as well.
Thank you. Councillor Geisens? Councillor Abbott?
Thank you. I just wanted to provide a brief update on the working group in the terms of reference that myself and Councillor Taylor are actively working on. Right now we are in a public consultation process. Our information is public. If you had any ideas about what you would like to see in a term of reference for a working group, or any ideas on the revitalization of our downtown. Currently we are focusing on budgets, but we're right now sort of in a fact-finding mission working on those terms of reference. So I know we announced it in December. This was a group that was going to come to fruition. I want to provide an update that we are actively working on that project, and there are good things to come in due course. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I haven't seen it, but I look forward to checking it out. Just one quick one. We've sort of talked really quickly about these monitors. I find them very difficult to see one another. I'm not sure how much they're being used. They may be, thought they might be used during the last budget deliberations, but they weren't working for that, which is kind of why I've held off on this conversation. So I'm willing to leave it until after the operating budget deliberations if people think that they're necessary for that. But I'm wondering if we might be able to consider possibly doing away with them and moving to the screen so that people can, I think it's important for everybody to be able to see one another and have that kind of, any comments? Councillor Columbus, any comments?
I mean, these monitors.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, a lot of times it's hard to see that screen.
Well, yeah, I've asked you because I knew that, I thought you
Yeah,
might be the one
That's an issue.
Would it be something, do you, so you use this? If I spoke to IT and if there was a way that we might be able to plug in the iPad or something like that, or I don't know, some kind of option, would you be amenable to that? Go ahead. Oh, that's a good.
Just move back to be able to look.
That's a good idea. That's a good, great idea. Councillor Shelley?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to introduce you to Councillor Ryan Taylor.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. I think it was great teamwork this evening. So with that, I will... Oh, okay, that the action items, that's perfect. So just if I could have a mover that and a seconder that items 1 to 15 of the action items list be adopted.
In the past 18 years, we've asked staff if there's other business as well.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Staff, other business? I didn't have this at the last meeting because we cut it off short.
Nothing,
so.
thank you.
I have nothing to add this evening. Thank you very much.
Ms. Duesling?
Nothing this evening.
Mr. Baird?
Well, because Councillor Columbus made that point, I do have something I think it's important to share with you tonight very briefly. Council is aware of the high water levels in Lake Erie and the storms. Long Point has received considerable erosion and has for a good year anyway. We have a number of pedestrian walkways that go from, in particular, Woodstock Avenue to the beach area. And one in particular was closed last year because pedestrians could just walk over and it was literally an 8-foot drop. So we closed those off for safety. We've had to, again, late last week, close another one at 115B Woodstock Avenue. And I'll share some photographs. It's quite dramatic. Hopefully the beach will return. It's a cycle. But just for public safety, I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And last but not least,
Yeah, no, just to mention that if it's at all helpful too, I've already had some dialogues with Brent about replacing these monitors within the council renovations, but if you, hearing council speak tonight that you'd like other options, I'd be happy to take that up with him if you'd like.
well, I think, I know it's been pushed off for some time with council, and we'll just, there might be, even I think that's a great idea to maybe just see if the monitors could be hooked up on the side for those that want them. Anything?
Sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. Officially, I would like to welcome the sheepdogs for Wednesday and Thursday to Norfolk County, providing their music at the Old Town Hall, and it's quite a coup for Norfolk County to have the sheepdogs in our town. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so, did I do that? We got derailed here. Okay, so first, that items 1 to 15 of the action items list be adopted. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Rabbits, Councillor Taylor, all in favor? That's carried. And last but not least, I've got, this is moved by Councillor Rabbit, seconded by Councillor Columbus, that bylaw 2019-07 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Council of Norfolk County at this council meeting held on the 15th day of January 2019 be passed, signed by the mayor and clerk, and affixed with the corporate seal. All in favor? It's carried. And everyone's looking forward to this one. This is moved by Councillor Geisen, seconded by Councillor Rabbits, that council be adjourned at 8:23 p.m. All in favor? Okay, meeting's adjourned. That's our earliest one yet, though.
It gets better.
That agenda was much more, I commend you.
That's my main objective.